All right, guys, so as we finally get past all the fun of the holidays, we also have to say goodbye to the excuses. You know, after the holidays, I'm going to, and nobody's going to do anything. It's the holidays. Well, the holidays are over, and it's time. It's time to make a new you and make that new you a reality, get back into shape, and yes, get a new gig. But here's the trick. Scooping that new 9 to 5 hinges on that little pesky interview. Here are some behavioral tips. Our good behavior expert, Miss Casey Ingram from the Southern Institute of Protocol and Etiquette. Good morning.
Good morning.
So interviewing, not just here on TV, but we're actually talking, I go in and meeting the potential new boss, right?
Absolutely.
There are some things, some do's and some do nots.
Yes. So the first thing that you want to do is, in order to get the interview, you have to actually have a professional resume,
Right.
cover letter, all of that. That's your first impression. Once you get past that and you actually get the interview, then you want to make sure that you're going to go through your preparation phase, because a lot of people.
This is where I think where people get hung up.
Right. Well, a lot of people, you're already going to be nervous.
Right.
It's natural to be nervous in a situation like that. The more you prepare, the less you're going to be nervous. So it helps you just going in with your composure.
Now, when you talk about preparing, you're not only talking about study. You got to study the company. You want to make sure you
Right.
know what this guy does, because you want to be able to, when he says, "What can you do for me?"
Exactly.
need
You
an
want to be able to
answer,
speak
right?
to that. But beyond the company, you actually want to, if you can, find out who you're going to be interviewing with.
Mm-hmm.
The best tool out there is LinkedIn. You can actually research the people,
Right.
have a little background information, maybe some common things, maybe even some connections that you share.
Sure.
As well as just making sure that beyond the company information that you truly understand the role that you're going
Mm-hmm.
to actually apply for, so you can speak to not only what you can do for them, but any questions that you may have. It's always great to ask questions.
Yeah, that's one thing I think you really need to do, even if you know the answer, because they always get that time. Do you have any questions of me, sir? And if you go, "No, I'm good,"
Right.
you may not necessarily be viewed as the best candidate, right?
It's a poor reflection. It says, maybe they're not as interested as the next person that may come in that has not just questions. It's important to have valid questions.
When you're talking about etiquette, then bring it back around. What kind of questions do you think are not on the table for you to ask? Now, obviously, the employer can't ask you your age. There's certain questions legally he can't.
Right.
What shouldn't I ask as a interviewee?
Well, you never in the first interview want to talk about money. That's one of those things that comes later down the road once you've actually been offered the position.
Sure.
Then you speak about money, things of that nature. Anything of a personal matter. So it'd almost be the same things that you wouldn't want an employee asking you. You
Man,
wouldn't
I'm going
want,
through this really nasty divorce and I'm paying this child support. I tell you what.
Right.
Something like that,
You
yeah,
wouldn't want to
yeah.
bring that up in the interview either. You want to keep it completely professional. Now you also want to make sure that you're personable, but you've really got to walk that fine line.
Right. The other thing I think people make mistakes on is you don't want to bag your old employer. Let's face it, we've all had employers that, if they were on fire, you may not put them out, but you don't probably want to say that to a potential job, right?
Absolutely. So whenever you go into a job interview, you want to make sure that you remain positive, and that's in every situation, whether you're answering questions about, situations that were challenging that
Right.
you overcame, as well as specific things about employers. And you need to be prepared for that going into the interview when you do your practice interview sessions, because if not, it'll catch you off guard.
Sure.
And you possibly will drop something that maybe you shouldn't have. And you don't want to go down that rabbit hole, because it's really hard to recover from.
We've got a little less than a minute left, Casey. Let's talk real quick about body language. Just when you sit there in front of the guy, I mean, how do you want to compose yourself? Do you want to hold on? Do you want to cross?
Well, the biggest thing you want to do is remain open. So you want to keep from crossing your ankles, your legs. You don't want to, right, but you don't want to cross your arms. So that automatically indicates that you're closed off. So you want to stay open. You ideally want to keep your hands, if you're at a table, keep your hands on the table. Be aware of what you do with your actual hands as well. As don't be using them when you're speaking. You don't want to get too vocal with your hands.
So you want to be
as well.
comfortable, but not quite lounging back in the
Absolutely.
block, hanging a drink
Yes.
with your buddy watching the Packers game.
Exactly.
All right. Casey Ingram, the Southern Institute for Etiquette and Protocol. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
It's time to go get a new gig. The holidays are over. It's time to get back to business.
That's right.
It's 2014, y'all. Year to make you, you. Stay with us. We got a lot more Good Day Columbia on the way, coming up a little later on. Our very own Corey Miller, pastor of Payne, fresh from the bowl game, is going to join us. Plus, we're talking about a new law that may impact you if you decide to have a little cigarette on your way into work. Stay with us. We'll explain.
What's up? Y'all Shannon Jenkins in the building of beautiful, and you're watching Good Day Columbia.